Hey Buns, well it has been 1 month since I got my new Logitech G600 MMO gaming mouse, and I wanted to give a little review and let you know how it's been going for me, go over some of the main features, and talk about if it's worth it, and what the transition was like. Previously, I had been using the Logitech G502. I used that for like 5 years, and one thing I loved about it was the extra buttons on the side that I could program to different things. And I figured, well, if I like the buttons on the side so much and I'm programming those to my most important abilities, most often used skills, then maybe I should get a mouse that has lots of buttons on the side. So that's why I looked into getting an MMO mouse. This one has 12 buttons on the side, and the way that they're shaped is sort of sloping in two different grids of 6 keys. I'm going to zoom in on this so you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about, but it's very cozy to rest your finger here in these 2 separate grids. This is something that has made it very comfortable to use, and that has made it easy to tell what button I'm pressing when not looking at the mouse. Because I mean, you see so many buttons and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I even gonna tell these apart? You can feel with your thumb which button you're pressing. That's really nice. The G600 has a cool feature in that you have an extra button right here. I mean, you can disable this if you want to. You can disable any of these buttons if you want, if you find yourself accidentally clicking them too much. But you have, your first mouse button, second mouse button, and you got a bonus third button right here. I've been using this for control as an extra modifier. So I have all these buttons on the side, then I have shift plus all these buttons, and control for all these different buttons. And I've set up my hotbars to reflect that. So you'll see that I have hotbars now that are 3x4 grids, and there's 3 separate ones, one for no modifier, one for the shift modifiers, and one for the control modifiers. And that has been so nice to have everything so well organized and neat and tidy and orderly. Like, that has been much better for me than the chaos of weird keybinds I had previously. The scroll button, you can press into it, and that is a keybind. And you can also, which I haven't really messed with yet at all, you can bind pushing this thing left or pushing this right. You can also bind those things, which I have not messed with that at all, but maybe that's something that I'll play around with. Below the scroll wheel, you have a button that is by default set to change your profile that you have set up on the software. I don't really have any need for that. Like, I just need one profile, but you can set up different profiles for different games, even if you want. And the button below that is set by default to changing the DPI, changing the sensitivity of the pointer. I also don't have a need for that. I just pick one sensitivity and I'm good, but you can mess around with that if you please. I know that this mouse has a DPI sensitivity range between 200 and 8200, so you can pick whatever feels comfortable for you within that, and you can, if you want to, use this button to shift quickly between different DPIs if, for example, you play FPS games. As for the comfort, one thing I was pretty concerned about was the fact I have very small hands, and I was worried that I was not going to be able to reach all the things easily, but as you can see here, that is not the case. I have absolutely no problem reaching all the different buttons and anything that I need to. Though I will say that in the beginning, it was horrible. Okay, like the first few days or first week, maybe week and a half even, it was very awkward and very, very uncomfortable. Like, you need to buckle up and prepare for that. Like, it will get better, I promise. But there were times when I first got this mouse when I was like, what have I done? What, oh no. I just need to go back to the way things were. It was fine. But now that I've gotten accustomed to it, I will say that this is an improvement in that it's much easier for me to move around in a raid, like get out of bad stuff while still doing my rotation. Because if you have a lot of weird keybinds like I did previously on the keyboard, you might find that sometimes when you need to move around, you need to like try to reach for a keybind that's not in a comfortable spot compared to where your movement keys are, and you might find yourself like twisting your fingers around, and like I had actually gotten pretty good at doing that, but now that I don't have to do that at all and I can just easily press any button on the move, it is so much better, and I would never want to go back to the way that I had been doing it previously. And that on top of, like I said, the keybinds now being very orderly, very neat. One thing I will add too is that I definitely went overboard. Like I tend to go all in. Like once I like something, like I go all in on it. And I not only decided to get used to the new mouse, but I also changed all of my keybinds at the same time that I got the new mouse. So for me, it was extra overwhelming in the beginning and extra awkward. I really had to relearn how to play all my jobs because I had to break all the muscle memory that I had previously on the jobs that I played a lot and get used to new keybinds and the new mouse. That was a process that was easier for jobs that I didn't play a lot before getting the new mouse. So if you're starting from the ground up, if you're a new player and you don't have a lot of muscle memory to break yet, you probably won't have quite as hard of a time as me. But know that if you are like me and you have a lot of muscle memory on your main job, even in that case, you will be able to adjust in a few days, a week, something like that. And it will get better and better with time. After a month, I feel very comfortable with a new mouse, though I will say that there are a couple of jobs that I haven't practiced a lot yet on the mouse, and so I will have to adjust, but it will be easier now that I'm comfortable using the mouse. Having the keybind set up in an orderly, logical way will make it easier to adjust to new jobs as well. Like you can have a row that is for AoE and, shift that row for AoE, for example, and just have a similar logic for every job. Will make it a lot easier to adjust to different jobs and even different MMOs. So yes, I would say that right now, the comfort is excellent. I don't think about my hands being tiny. I love it. It's very comfortable for me now after a month, but in the beginning it was so bad. I wanted to give up and go back. So just push through that. It's going to be okay. As for the question of whether or not it is necessary, I'm going to say no. It's definitely not necessary. Like you can absolutely get by using any sort of keybinds you want to, or using a controller if you want to. For me, it's been nice to move more easily while in a raid, and I enjoy how much more organized my keybinds are now. So whether or not it's necessary is just going to be up to you. I kind of went for the MMO mouse on a whim just because it seemed like a cool gadget that I wanted to try out. But now I don't think I would want to go back. I had considered getting the Razer Naga Trinity mouse. I went to the electronics store and that was the only one they had that I could sort of try. And I did not like it. It didn't feel as comfortable in my hand. That may be due to the size of my hand. I don't know. But I did not like how on the side it had interchangeable button setups. I really didn't want to mess with that. I just wanted to have the buttons the way they are with no extra setup, no fuss. Just this is how it is. And I don't really have any need to change the buttons around because I just play MMOs really. Another reason I did not go for the Razer Naga Trinity mouse is because I had heard from many, many people that they have a tendency to break after 6 months to a year. And yeah, so I know that's anecdotal, but that is enough to keep me from spending money on a mouse. I had also had my experience with the G502 from Logitech that lasted me for 5 years and had no problems ever. So I knew that this would definitely be a purchase that could last me for years to come. So for me, I feel like it's well worth the price and you should be able to find deals and discounts on it pretty easily. Have you used the Logitech G600? If so, let me know what you've thought about it in the comments section down below. Did you move on to a different mouse or is this the one you're still using? What sort of keybinds have you set up for Final Fantasy 14? Have you played other games with it? Let me know all that and help other people who may be considering getting an MMO mouse in the comment section down below. I love it. I really am glad that I got it. I love the ease of movement and I love just how nice and neat my keybinds are, even though getting used to it was pretty bad. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow warriors of darkness. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.